Guys, so my Viva question is on the pathophysiology of seizures and status epilepticus, and the clinical significance of this presentation. So just a quick introduction on seizures. So seizures happen when the brain cells or the neurons start firing in an abnormal, excessive, and very synchronized way. So normally there's a balance between the excitatory signals, mainly from the glutamate, and then the inhibitory signals, mainly from the GABA. If this balance tips, either from too much excitation or not enough inhibition, the neurons can fire uncontrollably, and that's when a seizure occurs. So I guess a bit more on the pathophysiology of seizures. Once that abnormal firing begins, it spreads across networks in the brain. So where it spread determines the type of seizure. For example, it might cause muscle flexion in your tonic seizures, repetitive jerks in your clonic seizures, a lights on but no one is home situation in your absence seizures, or even a sudden collapse from muscle loss in your atonic seizures. So during this activity, the brain's demand for oxygen and glucose, as you can imagine, skyrockets, but it unfortunately can't always keep up. This mismatch leads to energy depletion, ion channel dysfunction, and general stress on the neurons. So that's why seizures that last longer or happen repetitively can be so harmful. As you can imagine, they push the brain beyond its limits. So that's when we go into our next one, is our status epilepticus. Alright, so now status epilepticus is when things get really serious. It's defined as a seizure lasting longer than 5 minutes, or multiple seizures happening without the person regaining consciousness in between. In this state, the brain is getting trapped in this continuous cycle of overactivity, and the neurons fire continuously within this. So this means too much calcium is being flooded into the cells, making them hyperactive and damaging. The mitochondria, which normally makes energy, becomes overwhelmed and starts to fail. So then the neurons run out of fuel and they begin to die. At the same time, the body can't keep up with the high oxygen and energy demand. This lowers oxygen levels, putting strain on the brain, the heart, the respiratory system, and without quick treatment, this can cause lasting brain damage. So I guess some clinical significance sort of that presentation. The key thing to remember is that most seizures stop on their own and don't cause lasting harm. But status epilepticus is different. It carries a high risk of permanent brain damage, long-term disability, or even death if it's not treated quickly. That's why recognizing it early is so important. Management usually starts with stabilizing the basics: airway, breathing, circulation. And then we can move on to things like our anti-seizure medications as per the CBG, to break the cycle of activity and try and protect that brain. So I guess a bit of a conclusion from my question. To sum up, seizures occur because of the breakdown in the brain's balance between excitation and inhibition, leading to bursts of uncontrolled electrical activity. Status epilepticus is a dangerous and extreme version of this, where this activity doesn't stop and causes progressive brain injury and systemic failure. Clinically, that makes it probably one of the most dangerous neurological emergencies that we can face. And as we can see why, immediate treatment is critical to prevent serious outcomes for our patients. So I hope that answers the question, and I hope you learned something from that discussion. Thank you.